We're here this morning speaking with Mark Scott, who's running for council. Mark, why'd you decide to run for council, sir?
Yeah, thanks. So, I've been on the council before. It's been 8 years, and I get a kick out of that because you'll hear current council members say, well, everything, for the last 10 years, nothing's happened. I'm like, well, you've been there 9 of the 10, so you should look in the mirror. But I'm concerned about the growth of Corpus. I think we have incredible opportunities. But there is a group, a segment of the community that frankly calls us a sacrifice zone. And we got to shut things down because we need to protect us from us. And I think that's bad public policy. So I'm running because I think we have unique opportunities that frankly no one else in the country has. And the question is, are we going to take advantage of them or not, right? I also, quite honestly, I enjoy public policy work. I'm kind of weird about that. Some people want to be on the softball board of directors, or the soccer club. I just like being a council member. It's fun to me. I get to impact the world around me. I tell people that, and it sounds weird, but when I pull up to stoplights, when I used to be on the council, I'd pull up to a stoplight and I'd look into that stranger's car. They don't know me. They're never going to know me. But I'd go, what have I done today to make their world a better place? Because I'm in a position as a council member to do something to either improve or frankly not improve, if you make mistakes, their lives. And so I think that's fun. And then I'll tell you, it's a walk of faith for me. I'm a Presbyterian and I'm a Christian, and I think it's an opportunity for me to give back and kind of as part of my walk of faith.
Yes, sir. What are some of the issues you see confronting Corpus, or some of the challenges that you'd like to address or help the city address?
It's interesting. I've had this conversation, of course, a number of times. It's really all about water, So you go, no, I don't want to talk about water today. So what is your second issue? I said, well, it's about growth, and it's about jobs. Oh, wait, no water, no growth, no jobs. And they go, well, we'll talk about jobs later. And I go, well, then it's streets. Oh, wait. To improve our street funding, you need to have jobs, and to get jobs, you need growth, and to get growth, you need water. And so at the end of the day, it really is all about water. I'm disappointed that it took the council this long to initiate the desal project. I will tell you that I believe in a kind of a precept that says, don't let the perfect get in the way of the doable, right? And so what happens in a lot of entities, public policy makers, they spend so much energy looking for the perfect, it's just not there. So you do the doable. And when I was on the council before, there's a number of examples where we did the doable. I was the lead on Packery Channel years and years ago. You can make the case it should have been 100 feet closer to this one area. That may have been perfect, but we had a doable project, and we did it. I was the tip of the sparrow on raising JFK Causeway years ago. I always wanted a kind of South Padre Island, a beautiful architectural bridge over to South Padre. That's what we deserved. But at the end of the day, we had a doable project, which is what we have, $45 million, and we did it. And so I think desal, the Inner Harbor project, is a doable project. I don't think it's perfect. But I'm not sure there is a perfect project. So yeah, that's one way to solve the water issue, at least short term, which again gives you opportunities for jobs and growth, creates additional tax revenue, which goes to things like streets. My primary focus is public safety. I suspect yours is. I don't know anybody I run into that says, no, that's not important, right? So how do you improve public safety? Again, it's about creating additional revenue that can go to public safety, and creating additional revenue requires new growth and new jobs, which requires new water. Even if you do the desal project the city's talking about, it still doesn't come in line until 2028. And so there needs to be a conversation. I go, okay, let's say we're doing it and they're on the path to do it, although there is an initiative to kill that project. But let's just say we're doing it. You still got to find water between now and 2028, and I think the city needs to be looking at that. There's some opportunities. I shared them with the group last night. It's like, well, those are my ideas. I don't want to share them with my competitors, the other candidates. But so it's all about water. Yeah, I'm going to just segue a little bit. There's an interesting niche in our community, which is very significant. It's about 25% of our market, of our economy is military. and that's the Navy, Naval Air Training, and that's CCAD. The Army Depot exists on our Navy base. And one of the reasons why it exists on our Navy base is it doesn't pay any rent because the Navy's there. If we ever lost the Naval Air Training, then CCAB would have to fend for itself, which might make it non-competitive, which means all those jobs would move like to Texarkana. They have a big facility. So we need to focus on the Navy. Now, when we're talking about Naval Air Training, right, we train pilots. What's the big thing on the world today? Drones, right? And so we need to be having these conversations with the Navy. Say, hey, you're training 10 pilots, but you also have one drone, but your plans are to have 5 drones. Does that mean you only need 5 pilots? In which case, are you going to reduce your training in Corpus Christi? So we need to have conversations with the Navy so we can be a part of their future. I'm in a unique position there. Admiral Dwyer, who's a 3-star admiral at the Pentagon, is in charge of long-range planning. And Carol and I have known he and his wife, Christina, for a long time. We traveled 2 weeks together last month. So anyhow, I'm in a good position to sit down and have those conversations with the Navy to say, look, what does tomorrow look like? And where do we fit in? And better yet, how can we grow? Not only, we don't just want to survive. What else is out there we might move to Corpus? Because it's Corpus Christi. We're a fantastic place to live. You have this big footprint. What else can we move to Corpus Christi that might make it more economical for the Navy? So that's a side piece beyond just the water supply, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is there anything? It sounds like you're addressing everything there.
I will tell you, just so we recognize we're family here. Carol and I have had a relationship. My family, the Scott family's had a relationship with KEDT for decades. My dad used to do a radio show on Saturdays about the opera. My dad put on operas, operettas, and musicals at Texas A&I for 40 years, which I thought was really cool. That some music professor from Chicago comes to South Texas. They called that area, by the way, the Desert of Death. Before the railroad, it took the ox carts 3 days and one water stop, right? They literally called it the Desert of Death. And so you could say Dad went to the Desert of Death to start a music program. What a cool guy. He's since passed. But he did a radio show regularly here and hosted the opera. And then Carol did a TV show regularly for years, talking about arts and culture. So I'm honored to be here with you. It's kind of old homework week for me, and I think very highly of what you guys do. I will tell you that I was raised in Kingsville. Mom and Dad were school teachers. I mentioned Dad taught at A&I. I went to Texas A&I, got a BBA, came to Corpus, got an MBA, met Carol Alexander at the time at A&I, and so deeply grateful for that. We've been married 40 years. Got 2 kids here, Chris and Alex. They both live in Corpus. And so I tell people, look, I'm not going anywhere, but really the work that I might do if you elect me at City Hall will be about my kids, right? Because I do think it's fascinating to me that, there's a lot of good things that happen downtown, but they really are because of the incentives we put in place in 2012 to 2016, Now, keep in mind that if I get elected, I'm going to take credit for everything that everybody else did over last. That's how it works. But my point is that part of my walk of faith, if I get elected, is to recognize that it's really all about the young people and what's Corpus going to be for them and what are we putting in place to give them opportunities. And I think there's stuff going on, by the way. The city's done a great job with Del Mar College. The training program. The university's growing. The city, when I was on the city, we contributed funds to the engineering program to start that up and to start the drone program. So a decade ago, we were involved in stuff that has really provided, fruit going forward. So anyhow, I wanted to add that we have a long-term relationship with KDT. We think the world of you guys, and I appreciate you having me.
Well, yes, sir. We appreciate you coming by. It sounded like you concluded awfully nicely. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I do. I would tell you that if you elect me, a couple things. I'll work hard. I will not be a full-time city council member. I think that's a mistake. I think you want your council members to have to be somewhere, so they'll get in, get their work done, and then get out. I don't think we should have full-time council members. That's just me. I will look to do the doable and not let the perfect get in the way. And I used to tell people I'll keep two eyes on the road in front of me, right? But I want to keep that third eye over the horizon, right? So I think that's what happens a lot of time is you elect people that are either A, all they want to do is look in front of them, which, certainly with the potholes that we have, right? You want to keep two eyes in front of you, but you got to keep a couple of eyes over the horizon because, again, so much of what you do at City Hall is impactful in 5, 10, and 20 years out. Water would be an example. And I'll do that. I will keep a couple of eyes on the road in front of me, and then a couple of eyes on the road over the horizon. And they say the best way you can tell what someone's going to do is to look at what they've done. And if you look at my past experiences on the council, I would put that up. I was making public improvements, Whataburger Field, American Bank Center, the Wesley Seal Dam that you don't know this, but it moved years ago. Always bad when your water dam moves. That's a bad day when staff comes to you, goes, hey, we need to let you know, I think the dam moved. And we're like, what did you just say? Right? And then we improved the seawall downtown. So there's a lot of examples of things I've done in the past that hopefully improve the future.
Thank you so much.